Friends, we're going to do some more reaction videos today. I am going to do one from my good friend. I know her real name. For her real name, I'll just call her V, but Green-Eyed Little Baby, I believe. She's a friend, she's a Patreon, and she has a request. And her request is for Tracy Chapman, Behind the Wall. We're going to do a live version, 1988. And let's check it out and let's go from there, okay?
Last night I heard the screaming, loud voices behind the wall. Another sleepless night for me. It won't do no good to call the police. Always come late if they come at all. Last night I heard the screaming, loud voices behind the wall. Another sleepless night for me. It won't do no good to call the police. Always come late if they come at all. And when they arrive, they say they can't interfere with domestic affairs between a man and his wife. And as they walk out the door, the tears well up in her eyes. Last night I heard the screaming, then a silence that chilled my soul. I prayed that I was dreaming when I saw the ambulance in the road, and the policeman said, I'm here to keep the peace. Will the crowd disperse? I think we all could use some sleep. Last night I heard the screaming, loud voices behind the wall. Another sleepless night for me. It won't do no good to call the police. Always come late if they come at all.
Okay, that was a short song. Okay, well, thank you for that, V, our green-eyed little baby. Okay, so clearly this song, it was quite short. I have a vague recollection of this. I remember when Fast Car came out. Now, let me see if I can get the years straight here. I'm going to say, when did Fast Car come out? 91, 92? That was from 1988. Musically, Tracy Chapman, she's a great songwriter, a beautiful voice. You know, it's always amazing when people can do a song a cappella and stay in key. Something that not sure if I can do. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, this is a very serious song. We're going to take a look at the lyrics. I know right off the bat it has to do with domestic disputes and abuse. So, interesting time as I'm not overly glued to the TV, but I'm going to watch my words here. But the Johnny Depp case with Amber Heard, I know someone very well who could really go on, make a really interesting video about what it's like to be in a relationship with someone with borderline personality disorder. But that's not what we're going to get into today. We are talking about Tracy Chapman's song. It sounds like a domestic violence song for raising awareness for domestic violence against women in partnerships. Living arrangements. So let's take a look. Okay, last night I heard the screaming. Okay, well, you can, if you're ever, I don't know if any of you have ever lived in a building with a couple that's not getting along and there's a lot of fighting. God forbid there's children involved. Last night I heard the screaming, loud voices behind the wall. So obviously that's, in some type of living area where multiple families live, like an apartment complex. Another sleepless night for me. Saying that it probably happens often. It won't do no good to call, meaning what's the point in calling the police? They won't do anything. The police always come late, if they come at all. Well, that's kind of saying what I just said. When they arrive, they say they can't interfere with domestic affairs between a man and his wife. As they walk out the door, the tears well up in her eyes. Last night I heard the screaming, then a silence that chilled my soul. I prayed that I was dreaming when I saw the ambulance in the road, and the policeman said, I'm here to keep the peace. Will the crowd disperse? I think we could all use some sleep. Okay, I have a recollection of that song. Again, this was released in 1988. I think Tracy Chapman became more obvious to me in pop music culture when Fast Car came out. So Tracy Chapman, to me, she's not a typical songwriter singing about, lollipops, partying and all that. She really sings about really deep social issues. And her lyrics, like some other people we know, are very heavy and deep. The whole problem with domestic abuse, as myself having a family member that was in a domestic abuse relationship, it's very complicated. It's very complicated with the police. It's very complicated when it gets into court. It's not as cut and dried as we always think it should be. And it really makes it very difficult when kids are involved. First off, you don't want children subjected to that, but then as they get older, and if you have to go to family functions and you see the perpetrator of this when the couple's no longer together, how is it fair that you can't do what you'd like to do to them, right? You can't, because you don't want to go to jail and go to court and go to jail in that order. But then also, like if your nephews and nieces are, it's still their father, right? So how would they feel if you did something? Sorry guys, this is a very heavy topic, so I'm trying to kind of look at it from a musical perspective, but also from a social perspective. A lot of people get trapped into relationships that they don't want to be in, either with abuse, threats, I'll kill myself if you leave me, or, maybe they try and leave and the person cuts their wrists or takes crazy actions, or they're just afraid of being hurt. They don't want to, it's a very, very tough situation. And, and then we have the flip side of it. We see what Johnny Depp's going through. I'm going to be careful with my words talking about that case too much, because, until things are proven, but it clearly looks like someone has a diagnosis of a serious personality disorder, and the general public doesn't really know a lot about it, but the people that do, you're looking at it right away going, oh my God, well, that's what's going on. But I would like to do another reaction video to a Tracy Chapman song. But this one here, Behind the Wall, it's a very deep song. And when I think of Tracy Chapman, I always think of a talented musician, singer, songwriter, guitar player. But I also think with her, she was different in the sense that she just didn't write about typical things. Her lyrics were very deep about social issues and things of that nature. So domestic abuse is something that's has been going on for a long time, obviously. Again, the world we live in, a quote my mother would always say to me is, the world is not fair, the world is not just. But I like to think that the core idea of a relationship is that you both love each other, you both support each other, and you both have each other's back. And there should be no hidden agendas when you're with someone. But that is my take on that song. That was a very short song, but it was a great suggestion, something a little different for us here. But musically, it was a beautiful song a cappella. She had a lot of, she's telling a story. She's kind of getting a message across about abuse. And it's a very sad thing. I said in a recent reaction video that our world's a mess. I think sometimes, on a different level, what can we do to change the world or to make the world a bit of a better place? Sometimes just think before we act. Think before we speak. If you have a friend or someone that's always been good and kind to you, don't be an ass. Don't be a dick. Think before you say things. Appreciate things. Appreciate someone who cares about you enough to do good to you. Again, I'm not I'm not saying I'm the moral compass of the world here, but the world's a mess, and I always struggled with it. I have my own personal story of how I kind of became a recluse and pulled myself away from a lot of things. So maybe one day I'll get into that. But I thought it was a really beautiful song, and really great the way she sang it. Tracy Chapman is another person I'd like to get into a little more. I'm a little older, a little wiser. I think a little bit more deeply. I'm a more thoughtful person, so I'd like to get into some more of her music for sure. She's a very deep artist. Again, Green-Eyed Little Baby, thank you so much. And remember, practice hard, but practice smart. We'll see you soon.